Hello everybody. My name is Freek van Eyck from Holland Circular Hotspot. Today I want to put the spotlight on the built environment. We're just recovering from COVID-19. It really stopped the world. We see the impact already, not only in terms of health, but also in terms of economic impact, unemployment. But COVID-19 is just a wake-up call. Business as usual is not an option. We have to build back better. And we have to make the built environment more circular, or we will never reach the objectives of the European Green Deal and the Circular Economy Package. Because let's face it, the built environment accounts for 50% of all extracted materials. It accounts for more than half of total energy consumption, more than 1/3 of water consumption, 1/3 of waste consumption, and frankly speaking, also more than 1/3 of carbon dioxide emissions in the European Union. We have to build back better, including the built environment. And we think that circular economy is the way forward. And circular economy is about value preservation. Now, how could we visualize that? Now, imagine that we combine materials, creativity, and energy. It's like pushing a ball up on a hill. It's about creating value. With the materials we use, the products we manufacture, with the brands. Now, what typically happens is that when this material has a value, at the end of its lifetime, the value disappears. It rolls down the hill, to visualize it a bit. It's lost forever. And if you think about the plastic soup, it creates even a negative environmental value. But what if we were to capture that value and to keep that value at the highest possible level? By keeping it in circulation much longer, a longer use, or by reusing it, by sharing it. And if we can't do that, by repairing it, remanufacturing, refurbishing it. And the last thing in a circular economy is recycling, because then we're only using the material value and not the functionality. To do this, we're talking about another way of designing, another way of producing, another way of using, another way of dealing with waste. It's a system change. Now, particularly in the Netherlands, I have to say this concept fits us very well. We had to work together in the Netherlands to keep our feet dry. Our country shouldn't exist. We had to keep our country livable. We were early industrialized, very densely populated, an agriculture superpower. We had to work together to keep our environment safe and clean. And for a country that doesn't have natural resources, it makes sense to keep materials in the loop as long as possible. It made us collaborative and it made us innovative. Now we have this crazy moonshot ambition. We want to be fully circular in 2050. Can you imagine fully circular? And in 10 years from now, we want to have half the use of non-renewable resources. It's crazy, it's a moonshot. I don't think we will get there, but we will get so close. And it's extremely inspirational. Now, just an inspiration, just an ambition is not enough. So we have 5 focus areas. And one of the focus areas is indeed construction. Focus areas allow stakeholders to follow and to create the scale-up that's needed. But just a moonshot ambition, focus areas is not enough. You have to tweak the system, and you can do that by fostering legislation and regulation, by the carrot and the stick market incentive, by creating access to financing for circular business models, by touching behavior, how you and me, how we separate our waste, how we buy products. It's about access to knowledge and innovation, for instance, bio-based material, and it's about international collaboration. And the last one is nice because that's us, Holland Circular Hotspot. We want to make circular economy happen at the international level. We do that by sharing best practices from business, sharing the tools, the insights, and facts and figures from knowledge institutes, and by sharing the hard-learned lessons from our government. We want to make circular economy happen. Now, let's focus on the built environment. That's what we're here for. You can disagree a lot about tomorrow, but if you ask people about the vision about the built environment, they tend to agree. They see that the built environment is smart and digital. It's modular, so you can replace the functionality. Buildings are not energy neutral. No, they are energy positive, and they're all connected with their environment, a livable urban environment. Now, what does it mean? It means also that we have to focus on the overall lifetime of a building. And typically, now we focus a lot on the building phase, but if you talk about the cost, you have to talk about the total lifetime, because the usage phase determines 5 times the total building cost. Now, typically in a circular design process, you look at the whole phase. You look not only at the CapEx, initial investment, but also at the OpEx, the cost of the operations. And by going circular, the total cost of ownership will be less and the residual value will be higher. Now, what can you do in the beginning of the value chain and the sourcing and construction phase? Well, of course, you can avoid materials. You don't work with finite materials, but you use renewable materials, bio-based materials. Your energy, of course, in the circular economy is renewable. You avoid toxic materials, which prevent making loops. You eliminate waste right from the start. But when we go a little bit further, after the design, you can do lots of things as well, because you can in the design anticipate also the reuse of materials and products. You make sure that something can be repaired very easily, that there will be effective facility services, that the building is in a way modular, that you can change functionality if society has changed and there is maybe less demand for offices, but maybe there is demand for student offices, for student rooms. And you implement circular business models like buildings as a service. Now, we can talk a lot about this, but it will mean that the concept will be different. The role of the architect will be different. It's not just the built environment. He has to think about the whole lifetime. So about the sourcing, the production, the use phase, and the end of life phase. He has to communicate and create collaboration. He's a change agent, a design leader, a construction lord, an exploitation manager, and a reconstruction lord. And who knows, he might also be the data manager. So it's a complete control of the whole process. Now, we as Holland Circular Hotspot have noticed that there are examples everywhere in the built environment, from the beginning of the value chain all the way to the end of the value chain. Renewable materials, design best practices, buildings as a service, reuse, repair, remanufacture, refurbish, and recycling. But what's better than just sharing some examples with you? Now, bio-based materials in the beginning. The picture you see here is a fully bio-based composite bridge at the University of Eindhoven. It uses flax and hemp fibers around the PLA foam core in a bioresin. This is 40 meters long. This is more than just a joke in a laboratory. And it's monitored. It will be monitored for 1 year to see about all the, let's say, technical properties and the resistance over time. There are more things in which you can think bio-based. What about our roofs in cities? Cities are heating up. What about having a smart and a green roof? It keeps the buildings cool. It is water retention and it creates biodiversity in the town. And we know that our climate is changing. That means more extreme weather, not enough water or too much water. And you can actually integrate the, let's say, water retention in your system in a built environment. This is a water square in the Van Bentumplein in Rotterdam. And it has, let's say, several levels of recreation area. And it's designed in such a way that when there is too much water in a short time, part of the lowest level can flood as a water retention till everything is normal again, and then it flows over to the system again. So design incorporated for future extreme weather. Now, very essential if you want to think about the future are also material passports. If materials have an identity, you know where they are and you can recover them. Then we're not talking about demolition at the end. We're talking about selective dismantling and reuse of materials. So this is a crucial idea for the future, for keeping materials longer in circulation. Let's go to some really fascinating buildings where they have applied circular economy in practice. This is the Venlo City Hall. It's designed according to the cradle-to-cradle and circular principles. And really, it was the first place where the architect was thinking about the whole life cycle. And this building is not only about being completely energy neutral or energy positive. No, it's also about the quality of life, that people enjoy working there, that there is less illness. Did you ever calculate what 1% of less sickness leave would mean on your, or let's say, on your check as an owner of the building? It's fascinating. Let's move to another example. The most sustainable building in the world is The Edge in Amsterdam, the office of Deloitte. It has the highest BREEAM score ever. And this is a combination of basically applying everything: solar energy, water pumps to aquifers, but this building also uses intelligence. It knows that people are in the building, and it can adjust all the systems according to the presence of people. So it creates a combination of all possible, let's say, circular principles and energy saving principles. Now, what about the first cradle-to-cradle business park in the world? It's Park 2020. It's designed for dismantling. It's a material passport. It's light as a service, furniture as a service. Everything has applied here, and it has one of the highest occupancy rates which you can imagine for a business park. It's pleasant to work there. It's fun. Now, another one of my favorites is the new headquarters of Leander. It's from Rao Architect, and they didn't tear down old buildings and just started build a new fancy headquarters. No, they actually reused several old buildings and made a new office using 80% of the materials from what they, let's say, could find in the old buildings. And they covered all these 7 buildings with a roof. Now, this roof is fascinating because it's actually based on the design of a Luna Park, because Luna Parks are designed to be dismantled after a certain of time to be built up again. So design for dismantling is also here fascinating. As you can see, again, it's a very light building, a very pleasant building with lots of green elements as well. The headquarters, in front of the headquarters of ABN AMRO, there's the Circle Pavilion. ABN AMRO is a bank with a large real estate portfolio, and they want to inspire also their customers to go circular. And if you look at this building, it has a lot of elements which are circular. Look at the wooden beams, the frame to replace concrete. It has an elevator as a service. It has insulation made from old jeans. The service concept there, they use direct current instead of alternating current, saving lots of energy in the transmission. Another fascinating place to be. Of course, I shouldn't forget about our own company, Holland Circular Hotspots headquarters in Sibeta, which is a circular business center. And basically, it's a repurposed old farm, which is 125 years old, which is now an exposition room, and it has all kinds of materials which are circular, tapestry which is circular, heating which is circular, and it's an inspiration place for everybody. Another old tropical swimming pool in the Netherlands, Blue City, has been turned into a circular incubator hub. The office wing, 90% of the materials used were locally harvested as reused material. We have hotels which are circular, like QO in Amsterdam. And what's nice to mention as well is that we don't need just buildings which are show off for a company. No, we need to scale up. So what if we were to make social housing circular? Now we're experimenting a lot with that. If you look at the social housing in the Netherlands, lots of them were built after the war. And if you look at the outside of the building, it's at the end of its life, so it has to be replaced. And in a project called Stroomversnelling, actually they replaced the outside of the building in 24 hours. It's fascinating that it can be done. And from a very energy unfriendly building, now all of a sudden is an energy neutral social housing complex. If we enter a phase further in the waste phase, so now imagine jeans. I'm wearing one at this moment. You can wear jeans, you can share jeans, you can repair jeans, but then there comes a moment that you cannot use it as jeans anymore, but then they're perfectly suitable as insulation in a wall. And that's what happened, for instance, also in Circle from ABN AMRO. The textile fibers are processed into sound-absorbing, moisture-regulating paste that applies to walls and ceilings. Now we talk about another, let's say, circular example, which can have a huge impact. That's actually the smart crusher. It's about concrete recycling, and especially about the cement fraction of it, because that's the most energy intensive part. And if you know the building challenge we still have to build the let's say the cities of tomorrow, which for a large part still have to be used. What if we could reuse cement, this energy intensive part of concrete? It would save a tremendous amount of carbon dioxide. So this is an innovation definitely to follow. Now, lots of examples. We have to stimulate that. We want to build back better. We want to go circular in the built environment. Now, wherever you go around the, let's say, the loop of the built environment, the value chain, there are lots of things that, let's say, the regulator can do. It's about recognizing each other's standards, tools, and labels. It's maybe about, let's say, extended producer responsibility for buildings. Uh, could buildings be part of the emission trading scheme in Europe if they are so important for the carbon dioxide emission? It's about access to financing for a new circular business model. Create a pull factor that people start to procure more circular buildings. It's about solving how waste can become a resource again by aligning the waste regulation and the chemical regulation reach. And could we stimulate it by setting mandatory targets for recycling in buildings? Make material passport for new buildings obligatory. And it's about life cycle thinking all the time in terms of carbon dioxide, resource efficiency, health aspects, and the total cost of ownership. We can do a lot and we can do it now. And that's basically how I want to conclude, because closing the loop for buildings and materials is happening today. And I think that front-running businesses are showing it and they are embracing it. It can happen in the Netherlands, it can happen in Vietnam, it can happen in Ghana, it can happen in Canada, everywhere. And I think it's an opportunity. It's about future markets, it's about continuity, but we need to scale it up. We need to scale it up fast. Time is running out. We have to build back better and we need all of you on board. It's about collaboration and the Dutch gladly offer their hand to assist you. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to be here.
Hello, my name is Thomas Rauw. I'm an architect, and together with my wife Sabine Rauw, we started 28 years ago our architecture firm Rauw Architects, and 10 years ago we started Turn 2, and Turn 2 is an office about architecture of a new economic system. Because we don't have to optimize the system, that's what we call sustainability, we have to transform the system. Because there's a fundamental problem, we don't realize that we are the guests on planet Earth and we are not the host. And what does it mean to organize ourselves as a guest on planet Earth? We have to change the business models. We need circular business models as a driver for change. So we started 10 years ago Light as a Service, because we all know a product is an organized problem. We have to bring together power and responsibility by the producer and not by the consumer. So we started Light as a Service. So we were the first office building in the world 10 years ago where Philips has to deliver light and not selling lights. We scaled it up on Schiphol, the airport for Amsterdam, circular lighting. So here we have Light as a Service for 15 years, and the energy bill is not for us. I mean, the light company, they need electricity to deliver light. So we can save about 30% of our electricity bill. The next step is that we need circular design for circular business models, because then we have to optimize those business models. And in architecture, that means building is a material bank. This is a new headquarter of the Triodos Bank. We finished this building last year. It's the first office building in the world which is constructed for more than 90% by wood. It's a modular construction system. Of course, it's a carbon negative building, so we can save a lot of carbon if we would change the material. And that means we don't build a building, but we organize a logistic process with the result, a building. With the result, a material depot. Because at the end, when nobody wants the building anymore, we should disassemble the building without losing any value for materials. So it's built for disassembly. And what you see here, we needed 165,312 screws to connect all the elements in the building. And of course, that means we can disassemble the building very easily. It's a nature inclusive design, and we create more diversity on site than that was before the building was getting there. We got several awards. One of the awards was the Office Building of the Year 2019, because it's a carbon negative building, it's fully circular, and it's energy positive. It can be very big, it can be very small. This is a bird watching post in Haringvliet in the south of the Netherlands. It's a circular bird watching post. You see, it's a beautiful site, And I mean, to build here means to destroy all the quality. So we organized a logistic process by prefabricated wooden elements from Finland. And then we assembled everything on site. And that means we also can disassemble it in the future. Even for this building, we got several awards in 2019. And then we realized that waste is material without identity. So we started 7 years ago to give all our buildings a material passport. Because if you have a material passport, then the material has an identity and it can never be waste. Then we started 3 years ago to scale it up. So we started the Madasta Foundation, the Cadastre for Material. It's a public online platform to register the material which is in the building, and you also can calculate what is the value of the materials, because then the depreciation is not going back to zero, it's going back to the material value which you can disassemble in the building. So we don't need climate change. Of course, we need a mind change, and the result is a cultural change. The culture that we know that we are not the host, but we are the guests. Because you never actually own a material, you merely take care for it for the next generation. Thank you.
We are Circular IQ. We're a SaaS startup that offers circularity programs through our digital platform. Our mission is to empower businesses to transition towards a circular economy, making circular data transparent and actionable to generate large-scale change within supply chains. Our customers are mainly sustainability managers, procurement officials, and directors, working for the top 20 leaders in chemicals, consumer products, construction, high-tech, packaging, and plastics. Today, our world is only 8.6% circular, and our consumption patterns continue to escalate, causing acute resource depletion and a massive waste problem. This means that governments and businesses feel a massive impact on their profitability, and they need to act now. The challenge is, how can you manage and change what you don't measure? That's where our software comes in. Our digital solutions and services help businesses to know what's in the products that they buy, source, and/or produce, to find key areas for improvement based on eco-impact and circular performance, to prevent waste, and to prevent resource depletion by activating their value chain to increase recycled content. We offer 3 programs that help businesses in activating and increasing their circularity. Our programs support the goals and strategies of businesses throughout different sustainability maturity levels and sectors. We offer complementary pathways to implementing and activating your circularity through circular procurement, circular transition indicators, our CTI tool, and through circular product improvement programs. We offer a tool to enable businesses and governments to leverage their purchasing power to activate their sustainability goals. This is an easy and efficient way to kickstart your circular procurement journey. Governments and businesses are empowered to activate procurement effectively, utilize contract management, and collaborate with suppliers to integrate circularity. The software helps compare the circularity of offers objectively and report progress through our software. CTI tool. The CTI tool is a universal and consistent tool to measure circularity performance, made for business by business, developed by 26 global leaders and supported by the World Business Council for Sustainable Development. CTI tool helps businesses to assess their circularity status on multiple levels, to set and clarify targets for improvement, and to monitor improvements resulting from circular activities and strategies. Our Product Circularity Improvement Program. This is our third program. Together with our partner KPMG, we map and frame a product's eco-impact as well as its circularity characteristics. We provide in-depth and data-backed insights for the biggest circularity and eco-impact improvements on a product level. We help businesses understand exactly what is needed to achieve their sustainability goals and track performance and incentivize suppliers to improve their circularity and eco-impact. What is our traction? Our partnerships with WBCSD and KPMG put us in a unique position in supporting businesses to transition towards products and production processes that are fit for the circular economy. Our primary focus for 2020 is to activate WBCSD or Ellen MacArthur Foundation members and the top 20 businesses in the sectors I mentioned. Despite the current COVID-19 crisis, we continue to see growth. Since the launch of CTI Tool in January, we have issued over 400 accounts in over 50 countries all over the world with CTI Tool alone. So far, we facilitated the reduction of thousands of tons of virgin material and thousands of tons of CO2 emissions. Our strategy is to become a market leader in circular economy data management, first in Europe and then worldwide, so we can increase our positive impact even further. Thank you very much.
Hi there, my name is Rob Omen, and in the next 5 minutes I'm gonna tell you more about the Madaster platform and what we do to eliminate waste and enable a circular economy. We eliminate waste by giving materials an identity through the material passport. Just like you and I have a passport, have an identity, Madaster is for giving this to materials in the built environment as well, so that they won't get lost in our economic system anymore. Well, why is this important? Our planet is a closed system, and we only have one of them. If you zoom out from space, you can obviously see this really clearly. And on Earth, it's exactly the same. There might be millions of houses around the world, but we also have billions of people. So every piece of material on the planet is limited and scarce. And that's why we need to take care well of our scarce and limited materials. We treat or we see waste as material without an identity. And by giving it an identity, it won't get lost anymore in our economic system, and it can continue to serve a purpose and keep its value. Therefore, Madaster created the online library for materials and products in the built environment. Madaster created a cloud platform with 4 clear products. 1, an object dossier to save all relevant files related to your building. The material passport that gives an exact overview of all the products and materials stored in your building. A financial valuation tool to map the financial value of the products and materials in your building to make sure that we keep track and keep visible the value that is still there. And 4, a circularity index to give users insight in the level of circularity of their building. Avoid losing materials by generating a material passport. Currently today, we don't know how much of our materials are stored where and what the quality of it is. With the material passport, this is exactly what you do, and you are guaranteeing in the future that you can avoid losing materials. And create value for the future, both from an environmental and circularity perspective and a financial perspective. Madaster has a financial valuation tool that measures the value of the materials in your building, creating transparency in the industry and giving real estate owners a better grip on the material value in their buildings. And a circularity index that provides you insight in the level of circularity of your building and creates insight in what you can do with your materials afterwards. The platform has an object dossier as well, which allows you to create portfolios and and save multiple files to create a complete online building dossier. The platform is relevant during all construction lifecycle stages. For example, in the design phase, you can generate a preliminary material passport to see the level of circularity based on the materials and products you plan to apply in your building. This gives you the opportunity to improve the design of your building and select more circular products and materials. During the life cycle of the building, you continuously have good and transparent insight in the content of your building, what is there. And it allows you for better property management, reducing the cost of it as well. Because oftentimes 30% of the time of maintenance is spent on finding the right information about the building. With Madaster, you have this right away. Also, in the reuse and end-of-life phase, because of your material passport in the Madaster platform, you have immediate insight in what you can reuse and how you can reuse it, and you even have an estimation of the residual value. This enables a circular economy because we get grip on the materials we have in our economic system and insight in the valuation. In conclusion, Madaster has developed a platform to eliminate waste, and waste can be eliminated by giving materials an identity. Madaster is governed by a not-for-profit organization that governs all data and public availability of anonymized data. We work together, we utilize this platform with a great network of partners, both in the countries where we are active and also around the world. We invite you to join our platform and start creating material passports for your real estate. We're launching internationally. Get in touch and join us. Join Madaster because materials matter.
Hello, my name is Rick Klooster. I work for Future Insight. We're a Dutch company developing smart services for building and construction projects. We provide three services that are aligned with each other. Clearly, the 3D digital twin and our BIM services. Clearly is our online collaboration platform for spatial projects. It's a combination of 2D and 3D maps where you can visualize all of your project data and make it easily available for all stakeholders. Furthermore, there is a fully integrated workflow management module available, making it possible to easily organize your working processes and show the current status on the map. You can even include all your files within the process, bringing all relevant information to you within one item. Then there is the 3D digital twin, which we host for example, the cities of Rotterdam and The Hague. We even have it for the whole of the Netherlands. Fully web-based and based on the Open City GML standard, making it a good foundation for all your future smart city developments. It is possible to store and serve all kinds of levels of detail. Even really detailed and textured 3D buildings are easily made available online. It's not only about buildings, but all objects in your city, like trees, lampposts, and underground utility networks. Even attaching real-time information like free parking spaces or traffic intensity are already possible. Now let's go to the topic which we're all here for. The BIM-based permit process proof of concept we developed for the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Communication in Estonia. This is an image of the road lies the whole e-construction workflow, and it, for example, also consists of setting up the 3D digital twin for the whole of Estonia and taking a good look at the rules and legislation. These are some of the starting points we agreed on at the beginning of the proof of concept. We should be able to serve both the building and the usage permit. The solution should be web-based and have a real easy interface, since it's meant to be used by people who have no experience in using technical BIM software. We try to use the algorithm-based approach as much as possible, since it's less dependent on the quality of the data and more reliable looking at the checking results. Of course, it should use open standards, in this case IFC and BCF, and in the end it should also be able to use the to-be-developed Estonian BIM standard. We've specified 9 checks, all listed down here. Some are pretty easy, like the building maximum height, and some are more complex, like the evacuation routes and the safety barrier checks. Let's quickly have a look. Like said earlier, everything is web-based, so you start by going to a website. After logging in, you can add a design to be checked using the plus button. Then it's automatically stored in an open BIM database and added to the list of projects. The different checks are automatically started in the background. When you select a project, it's visualized and shown in direct surroundings. The green box you see represents the zoning plan, which the design is also checked against. You can easily turn on different floors and even define your own section planes interactively. Going to the Checks tab, you'll find the results of the automated checks, sometimes in text and sometimes with highlighted objects, depending on the results of the checks. In this example, the doors which are not wide enough are detected. When you select one, it automatically zooms in and highlights the door. For the safety barrier check, a voxel-based approach has been used, which kind of walks through the building and detects where you can fall down. It adds a new element at those places, like here at the elevator shaft. Finally, I show you the results of the evacuation route check, where we also used the voxel server. As you can see, we checked for a maximum of 30 meters from the door near the central hallway. Green is good and red is fault. The idea is to be able to download the errors as BCF, so you can fix them within your own BIM authoring tool. The next step is to integrate the solution within the Estonian building registry. This way it can connect to all processes which already exist and start it whenever needed. Since it's fully open and web-based, you can reuse wherever you want. And the cool thing is that this is all really going to happen. In the past few months, Estonia put the tender for this job on the market, and we won, together with Reachu, our local Estonian partner. Which means we are really going to implement the solution in the upcoming months in the Estonian e-construction platform. If you are also interested in taking the next steps, please contact me and I will be more than happy to discuss the possibilities with you. Thank you for your attention.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jan Kroon, General Manager of Fiberco Europe. I'm happy to be able to introduce our company on this webinar on the World Summit Digital Built Environment. And of course, I would rather have met you all personally, but unfortunately, COVID-19 virus forces us to find other ways of communication and other ways of presentation. And thank you for attending my presentation in this way. We are producing bridges and lockgates in FRP. FRP is fiber reinforced polymer. And we produced over 1,000 prefabricated bridges in the Netherlands, in Europe, and even worldwide. We achieved that FRP is meanwhile an accepted construction material, and our FRP products are sustainable in many ways. And due to our unique infracore technology, we are able to make beautiful, not only beautiful, but also very robust and strong constructions, which is very important for the infrastructure. We build bridges, sustainable bridges, bridges that are strong, bridges that are robust, lightweight constructions, maintenance-free products, products with a very long lifespan, and constructions with a freedom of form. I'll give you some examples in many countries where our products are already installed. And of course, if you don't mind, I start with the Netherlands in a typical Dutch situation. A typical Dutch landscape with a beautiful bridge with a, let's say, Dutch design. A pedestrian bridge, 37 meter span, a beautiful construction as well. This one, a very nice example for a situation in Malmö in Sweden with a beautiful well-shaped form of the bridge and an even more beautiful light design in the handrails. Here another one in the Netherlands. And this, quite another example, somewhere in England, where we had to replace an old construction by a new FRP deck. This a complete other solution for another situation on a golf course in the USA. Golf bridges are a special product of Fiberco Europe, and we have delivered them all around the world, even to Australia and in many European countries. A nice example of a bridge in Poland, where we have our activities as well. And here, a traffic bridge in the Netherlands, one of our first traffic bridges from already many years ago. Quite another example, an almost square part in a bridge, very well, very beautiful shaped with a curved edge and with a span of about 11 meters. All our constructions are very lightweight, which is very important for an easy and quick installation, in most of the cases within half an hour. Due to that lightweight, it's not only a matter of quick installation, but we are also able to find solutions in existing situations to add our deck to an existing bridge, in this case a railway bridge in Belgium, where we add a bicycle lane to it. And this a beautiful picture of a historic bridge on the German-Polish border, where they replaced the timber deck by a complete FRP construction. The overall bridge is about 340 meters length and over 2 meters wide. This a very special U-shaped construction. It's what we call an aqueduct, so we make a safe crossing for our deer and rabbits to cross the way that lies beneath it. And this is a very nice product we have as well. It gives a safe entry to the ships that are laying in the harbor, and that you can safe reach the mainland. Due to the lightweight of our constructions and our products, we are able to make movable bridges as well. And I'll give you two examples in this presentation. This in a vertical way, this one in a quite another way. but also due to the lightweight of the construction, we are able to make products and solutions like this. This is a very special situation where we had to reach a span of 70 meters, and in a hybrid construction with a perfect cooperation between steel and FRP, we were able to make two spans of 70 meters to cross one of the main highways in the Netherlands without too many disturbance by it. And another beautiful situation to close my presentation with, it's a hybrid construction for a pedestrian bridge, and it's a very beautiful shaped bridge, and we were able to realize this solution because of the lightweight of the construction. I do hope I get your attention with our beautiful products and solutions. And we want to grow and we want to expand in many more countries. So we are looking for new agents in new countries to be able to have our bridges over there as well. So please contact us if you are interested on our website. Thank you for your attention, and I hope you enjoy the World Summit for the rest of its program. Thank you again.